Hey everyone, before you watch this video make sure you've seen part 1, the link will be in the description. I don't want to take up a bunch of time at the beginning, but I do just want to ask you guys, other than lyric pranks, because I can't do those anymore, do you have any specific ideas you might want to see me make next? My Discord server helped with a few ideas recently, but I thought I'd ask here too. Anyways, leave your comments below and thanks in advance. Now, on to the video. How could you possibly love someone like me? The blonde man screamed as he clung to the edge of the railing, his side profile lit only by the moonlight as the rain blended with his tears. The man before him was desperate, frightened to take another step forward, but even more so of staying in place. That question doesn't even make any sense. There is no such thing as someone like you? Crimson eyes widened and sparkled, Bakugo's hands tightening on the slippery metal rail as he dangerously teetered over the edge. I love you because you're you. You're the only you there is. You're so smart and creative. I love that you always push yourself to be better every single day. I wish I could be like you, so brave and strong, and I could stand here and tell you how confident and fearless you are, but I can see that's not true. You act like it is, but I know you're scared of not being enough and disappointing everyone, but you're more than enough. Todoroki took a step forward, holding his shaking hands out as a plea for Bakugo to get away from the edge, but it still wasn't enough, and all the crying man could do was squeeze his eyes closed and shake his head in denial. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't know me? But I do. I know you secretly love waking up before the sun rises because the world is quieter then. I know you hate wearing socks because they make you uncomfortably hot. I know you adore all living creatures, even the ones other people call scary. And I know you hate yourself. You wish you were stronger, faster, smarter, better in every way. You wish you could be less angry all the time at the world and everyone else and yourself. But what you don't know is that you're incredible. You're the most incredible person I've ever met. Stop it. Stop. You're wrong. You might think I'm wrong, but I can't change the way I feel about you. I love you. I love everything about you. I love your eyes that always tell me what you're thinking. I love your hands that reach out to save others and ball tight to hide how desperately you wish to be saved. I love your voice that calls my name in so many different ways. Todoroki was stepping closer, slowly, but Bakugo knew. His heart had never felt simultaneously so hurt and so full. He listened to the man's ramblings of praise, and it made him numb, so much so that he couldn't move an inch until finally Todoroki's hands were grasping at his arms, holding him so tight as he pulled him back over the railing, and they collapsed together on the roof of the building. And Katsuki sobbed, shaking in Todoroki's arms as he cried all his emotions out. That's it, I'm here, and I'm never letting you go again. Katsuki sniffed and brought a hand up to wipe his eyes. He was trembling as he closed the book and put it down on his nightstand. Never had he ever thought a simple story could bring him to tears. Holy shit, what the hell am I doing? This isn't healthy. I feel like I was just confessed to in the most meaningful way, but it wasn't real. It wasn't for me. He put a hand to his chest to feel how hard his heart was beating. It hurt. He'd become so deeply connected to these versions of himself and Todoroki who were written on the pages, that he could hardly differentiate between that and reality anymore. So much so that he kept having to remind himself that Todoroki had not in fact confessed and they were not happily in love. Though surprisingly, after reading what he'd just read, his heart was thumping for an entirely different reason. Izuku wrote all that. He really knows me like that? He replayed the scene from the story in his mind, this time putting Deku in Todoroki's place, and his eyes spilled over with even more tears. He couldn't write all that without it coming from somewhere. He had to think about all that and write it down. He thinks that about me? Does he love me? Fuck, how did I end up in this mess? He fell asleep that night with an unsteady heart and racing mind, and despite sleeping late he found himself awake in the early hours of the morning, being unable to put his mind at rest when all he could think about was wanting to see Izuku. So there he was, at 5:30 a.m., sneaking into said boy's dorm room and once again feeling his heart drop, but this time at the sight before him. Izuku's head was laid across strewn paperwork on his desk. He'd clearly fallen asleep midway through studying. The blonde boy shuffled into the room with a concerned frown, noticing the red puffiness accompanied by dark bags below Izuku's flattered eyelashes. He looked so exhausted. He had done for a while now, and Katsuki had begun to miss his pretty smile and the way his eyes sparkled with excitement. It was a Friday night, for Christ's sake, why did he force himself to study till he passed out? He sighed softly and couldn't help but reach his hand out to brush delicately across the sleeping boy's freckled cheek, his chest squeezed just looking at him. So fragile and small, but he couldn't ignore how pretty Izuku was. How have you done this to me? I'm falling in love with two people at once, all thanks to you. Sigh, I can't just leave you like this. It was still so early in the morning that Katsuki figured waking Izuku up to move him to his bed wouldn't be so bad. Surely he would just fall right back to sleep, so he decided to take his chances. He placed the beloved book on the desk before lightly squeezing Deku's shoulder, shaking him a little and mumbling with a soft hushed tone. Izuku, wake up, you fell asleep at the desk. After a few moments the poor boy was grunting and humming as his hands moved to rub at his own eyes. Ka-chan? It's like almost 6 a.m., but you fell asleep studying last night? Your back must be killing, you should get to bed. What are you doing here? He mumbled and looked up with a frown, catching Bakugo off guard with his unimpressed glare. I was returning the book, but I'm worried about you. Oh of course, the book. He huffed and reached over to drag the book toward himself, but Bakugo frowned and put a hand atop of Deku's, making him look back up into his eyes. What's up with you lately? You seem so irritated about everything, so tired and stressed and snappy. It's not like you. Oh I'm sorry, I'm not a ray of sunshine 24/7. He brushed Bakugo's hand off and opened the book, flicking to the first blank page to see Katsuki's newest request, and he couldn't hold back the deep sigh that left his body as he pushed the book away again. Izuku, seriously, if there's something wrong just tell me. Have I done something? I'm just tired, Ka-chan, tired of all this writing. I can't keep up anymore. But I've been more patient. I don't rush you anymore. I'm always trying to tell you it doesn't matter how long it takes. Sigh, it's not about the time, Ka-chan. I just can't do it anymore. Huh, what do you mean? Come on, my stupid stories are basically real life now anyway. What? That's not true. Todoroki doesn't act like that with me at all. Izuku merely scoffed and looked away, holding his head as he leant on his desk with his elbows. I'm sure you enjoyed your study session last night. You're literally always together and you obviously both like each other. You're not stupid, Ka-chan. He does not like me like that? He was cut off as Izuku groaned dramatically and stood from his chair, turning to point an accusatory finger into Bakugo's chest. He told me months ago that he had feelings for you, before you even knew about the stupid book. Bakugo was stunned into silence, wide eyes desperately searching for a hint that Izuku wasn't being honest. But when he only saw the freckled boy's genuine frustration, he couldn't deny that his heart skipped a beat. But before he got too carried away at the thought of his feelings actually being reciprocated, he was way too focused on the issue in front of him right now. Why didn't you tell me? It was never my place. Todoroki should have just confessed by now. His voice had returned to the stale mumbling from before as he sat onto the edge of his bed, pinching the bridge of his nose as his exhaustion turned into the beginnings of a headache. He sighed and looked back up into Katsuki's eyes, realizing that he was not having the reaction he'd expected at all. What's wrong with you? Why aren't you over the moon running to Todoroki right now? I just told you he likes you? I'm not worried about that right now. I'm worried about you. You can force a smile all you want in class, but I can tell you aren't sleeping enough and I swear you've lost weight. Are you even eating properly? We do so much training, you know you can't slack on food and sleep, Izuku. No, it's really nothing, I'm just tired. Deku suddenly felt himself getting shy. Ka-chan noticed all that about him? He thought he'd been way too focused on Todoroki to even spare a single thought for him. While he was lost in thought, Bakugo suddenly huffed and stepped toward the desk. Izuku saw him opening up the fanfic book and instantly stood back up to rush over as well. He was about to start questioning him until he watched the blonde boy draw a line through his newest request. Wait, Ka-chan, you don't need to do that, I'm sure I'll get to it at some point, I just wait, it's okay. Bakugo cut him off and Deku watched as the guilt ate away at him, but nothing could have prepared him for what he saw freshly written on the page. Izuku the vampire hunter? Why would I write a story about myself? Well, me and Icy Hot will be the vampires. So you want me to just write another fanfiction about you two but just make myself a character? How is that? No, Izuku. I'm saying you should write one about all three of us, include yourself, maybe, just a suggestion. He cleared his throat and avoided eye contact, and as Deku watched his cheeks flush red, his brain finally caught up to what he was getting at. I don't want to do that. Why would I want to do that? He stumbled backwards until his legs hit the bed and his knees buckled, landing back down with a thud as he stared into Bakugo's eyes in shock. it was his turn to flush the shade of a tomato. Come on Izuku, there's no way you write the stuff you write about us unless you like us too. What? Why would you think that? You never said anything about it before? You describe us so, in the story I read last night, the way you described me, you always do it as if it's Todoroki thinking or saying those things, but when I read it I know it's coming from you. The things you say about me Izuku, they make me feel so loved. Deku was stunned into silence. He could feel his eyes welling with tears as his heart thumped and echoed through his ears. Ka-chan actually sees me, he feels me in the writing. It's just how I write. And you can't expect me to believe you could write all that from nothing. It comes from somewhere within you Izuku. Well, yeah, it does. Exactly, so please, give this a try. I think it'll be good for both of us. They stared into one another's eyes for a moment too long, and Izuku finally realized that Bakugo had heard his confession. He thought getting his feelings down on the page and acting as if it was all from Todoroki would be therapeutic in a way, but Bakugo knew. Okay, I'll try my best. Thanks, this whole situation has gotten a little out of hand. All this romance and shit, I never thought I'd care about any of it. He scratched his neck awkwardly before sitting onto Deku's swivel chair with a sigh. Well, I'm pretty sure I knew you had feelings for Todoroki before you did. True, and you knew about his feelings for me before I did. Oh, right. Yeah, I feel guilty that I told you actually. I thought I was making it so obvious when I was flirting with him, you know. Why didn't he confess yet? You're both oblivious. Nah, I totally noticed your feelings. Ahem. It's embarrassing to say it so blatantly like that, Ka-chan. This shit is not going as well as it does in your stories. Real life isn't a fairy tale. But you do, like me, then? I'm not crazy? You're really making me say it after what you read last night? I gotta make sure I didn't get the wrong idea? Well, you didn't. Izuku nervously watched as Bakugo's face relaxed and his lips turned up a little in the corners, despite how he looked away to try and hide it. Right, cool. Deku wanted so badly to ask how the blonde boy felt about him, but just as he was thinking of the right words to say, his head pounded again and he winced, hunching over to put a hand to his brows. Oh shit, your head, you should really get back to sleep. It's way too early to be awake on a weekend after passing out at your desk last night. Yeah. I'll get you some water and painkillers, hang on. Before Deku could protest, Bakugo was already up and out the door, leaving him to blush as he cozied up in his duvet. He was back quickly and handing the meds to the freckled boy, watching as he swallowed them and gulped down some water. Thanks, Ka-chan. It's nothing, get better soon, okay? He smiled at the boy swaddled in bedsheets and he just looked so fucking cute. Before Bakugo could even stop himself, he was leaning down. Izuku's eyes widened as their faces drew closer, until he scrunched them closed in panic, only to feel a soft, gentle kiss placed on his forehead. What the fuck? Did I just do that? I'll see you later. Go to fucking sleep. Bakugo had never rushed out a room so fast, stumbling through the halls with a hand over his mouth as his heart raced dramatically. No fucking way. I kissed him. I was just saying I couldn't kiss anyone. Why did I do that? I mean, I fucking know why, because he looked so fucking cute and tiny, and that's his fault? He burst into his own dorm and sat onto his bed, looking up to the ceiling before closing his eyes and taking a deep breath. I only kissed his head, besides he likes me. It was like a little gift of my affection. I'm totally allowed to do that, it's no big deal. We don't have to be dating for me to kiss his head, right? But fuck, now that I've kissed him I can't kiss Todoroki, right? That would be fucked up? Shit. Not that I want to kiss him or anything. He huffed and sunk lower until he was lying on his back, before rolling over and groaning into his pillow in despair. Getting it out felt good, honestly. And after a moment of calming himself down again, a new thought flittered into his brain. He'd just gotten 2 confessions this morning. Sure, they both technically came from the same boy, but he believed Izuku about Todoroki's feelings, and he knew it might be an issue for both of them to like him. But he liked them both too. So he pushed that negativity aside for now, and instead let himself relish in the fact that 2 super attractive boys were totally crushing on him. My feelings for that stupid ass icy hot are actually reciprocated. That means once I talk to him we could totally hold hands, right? That's not cheating or anything. Me and shitty Deku aren't dating. I wonder if he'll wanna kiss me. I can't think about that right now. Besides, Izuku likes me too. That's so crazy after all the shit I put him through. He's just so fucking cute. And pretty. Fuck him for being so pretty, how dare he. Cha, icy hot is Just hot. Pisses me off how perfect he is, but he likes me. Yeesh, he could probably get anyone he ever wanted and he wants me? Both of these idiots are out of their minds. What the hell do they like me for? His smile gradually faded to a frown as he rolled over onto his back again, and as he stared up at the ceiling he couldn't stop his mind from drifting back to that story from last night. Damn, more than just the confession, Izuku really knows what the hell I think about myself, huh? Cha, bullshit, I don't hate myself that much, I'm definitely smarter and stronger than most of the idiots in our class. But deep down Katsuki knew Izuku was right, he was self-conscious, he didn't think he was enough, but the more he forced himself to think about the two boys that were crushing on him, he could push all of that self-loathing away for now. Later that day. One new message from Shitty Hair. Yo BAKUGO, you wanna come to lunch with some of the guys? Who's going? Kami, Siro, Todoroki, and yours truly. Alright, I'll be down in a sec. Cool. Have you seen Deku today? Don't think so. Why? You wanna invite him too? BAKUGO closed the chat and moved over to Izuku's contact, but before he could send a message he was distracted by the name he'd given him. Dumb nerd. Edit nickname. Cute nerd. Nickname updated. Better. In private chat with cute nerd. How you feeling? Hi Ka-chan. I'm a lot better thank you. I'm glad. Me and some of the guys are just about to get lunch. Did you wanna come? Oh thank you for the offer but I'm not hungry at the moment. I've actually started writing the idea you wrote this morning. Don't push yourself. I'm not. I actually was really excited about it, and I'm on a roll so I don't wanna stop now. You gotta make sure you're eating Izuku, come on. I know, I promise I will eat, I just don't wanna go out. I'll get some food and bring it up here, okay? Promise? Alright. You better not be lying or I'll beat you up. I said I promise. Enjoy your lunch Ka-chan. BAKUGO looked at the sickeningly cute emoticon Izuku had sent, with the heart, and he felt his own heart jump as he panicked and shut off his phone. Shit, he's being bold now, huh? He got up and ran a hand through his hair, slipping on his jacket and shoes to head down to the common area. Hey dude, you left me on red? My bad. Hey, you look great. Cha, don't I always? Well of course. Kiri said you were inviting me Midoriya? He's got a headache. Oh, has anyone been to check on him? I did this morning. He's feeling better, just doesn't wanna come out. A man that must suck. He'd hate passing up an opportunity to spend time with you too. Who to? Dude, stop with that already, just ignore him. They headed out the dorms but BAKUGO was still stuck on what Kaminari had said. You too, he clearly means me and Icy Hot. I know that because I know Deku's kind of obsessed with us, but how does he know? Where are we even going by the way? A new pizza place opened up not too far from here. You like pizza right? Duh, who doesn't? Just checking, we could have gone somewhere else if you didn't. No way man, I wouldn't change my lunch plans for him. I didn't mean all of us. The group went quiet as BAKUGO felt himself blushing. His friends were totally side-eyeing them, and before today the blonde might have quietly avoided commenting or even lashed out to change the subject. But now he knew confidently that Todoroki wasn't just making oblivious comments, he was flirting, because he liked him. Well, unfortunately for you, I like pizza, you'll have to ask me out another day half and half. Damn BAKUGO, that was bold. Todoroki had practically malfunctioned as he looked away, continuing to walk beside BAKUGO while simultaneously trying to hide how red his face was. Holy shit you guys, we're like third, fourth and fifth wheelers right now. How are we letting ourselves be subjected to this? They're totally flirting. Can't believe BAKUGO is flirting with someone. Oi, what's that supposed to mean, huh? He sped up to kick the back of Kaminari's legs and the boy squeaked as he jogged further ahead. You hate people bro, where the heck did this come from? If I hated people, do you think I'd be coming to get food with you idiots? Ouch, why am I catching strays? He's grouchy when he doesn't get praise and affection for too long. Todoroki teased and reached a hand out to hold BAKUGO's, instantly making the blonde boy's eyes widen as he looked down at their entwined fingers in shock. Ha, hands. Pfft, you broke him? BAKUGO couldn't even yell at Kaminari as he was so entranced by the feeling of Todoroki's cool hand against his clammy palm. The way it instantly sent a soothing sensation throughout his body had his heart steadying in a way he hadn't felt in so long. Aw man, they're actually cute. Exactly, stop trying to tease him and just let him be happy. Kiri nudged into Kaminari as they all kept walking, absent-mindedly forming a line of three at the front while BAKUGO and Todoroki quietly walked behind them. Neither of them spoke the rest of the way there, whether it was nerves or just relishing in the comfort they found from one another. Bakugo wasn't entirely sure, most likely both. When they arrived and sat at a table, Bakugo and Todoroki ended up opposite one another, and the whole time the group was there Bakugo became more and more bold with his flirting. Having the wonderful information that Isuka had given him, he couldn't help but find it funny how Todoroki was comfortably flirting back, but still wouldn't confess. Then again, the same could be said for himself. So, are you two gonna date or what? What? Come on, don't act like you're not obnoxiously obsessed with each other. Deku was totally right this whole time. Why do you keep saying that? What do you know about Deku? How he's always going on and on about how perfect you are together and blah blah blah. I always thought he was totally delusional. Midoriya thinks me and Bakugo should date? Well, he never said it like that, but dude, you shoulda heard him. He totally does. But, doesn't he? Todoroki frowned and looked down at his food, humming as he took another mouthful, getting lost in thought. Doesn't he what? Oh, I always thought he liked Bakugo, you know? Oh for sure, that's obvious, poor guy. I reckon he just knows this dude wouldn't date him so he gave up. He gestured at Bakugo and the blonde boy sat up straighter in his chair, feeling the need to defend himself but also not wanting to say too much and expose their messy situation. You don't know who I would and wouldn't date. So are you saying you would? Would you date Midoriya? His eyes flicked around nervously. He knew he totally would, but he didn't want to say that in front of the one other guy he totally would date. He'd been thinking for a while now, that if he was suddenly thrust into a situation where he had to choose, he had no idea what he'd do. Don't put him on the spot like that, you guys. Come on, can we just eat? Yeah, he has a point, just drop it. Cha, it's none of your business anyway. One awkward lunch later. When the group got back to the dorm, the third, fourth and fifth wheelers quickly dashed off to Kaminari's dorm to play video games, escaping from Bakugo's still pouty mood. This action of course left Todoroki stuck with him in the common area as he contemplated asking to spend more time with him, or just giving him space as well, but it turns out he wouldn't have to make that decision. Hey are you busy? We just got back, so no. Can we talk? Todoroki gulped nervously but managed to muster a small nod, quietly offering for them to head to his dorm room. Katsuki agreed and they headed there together. The moment they got inside, Bakugo felt his insides fluttering warmly. He was in Todoroki's room, but to counter his nerves he instantly blurted the first snarky comment he could think of. Pfft, your room is so fancy, what's with all this traditional shit? Makes you seem like some rich old man. I dunno about old, but I can buy you all you want with my dad's credit card. He flashed a smug smile and they both laughed, the tension broken as they sat together on the bed, until it instantly came back as Bakugo looked into his heterochromatic eyes. He didn't think he could ever get used to the way Todoroki looked him. It made all the synapses in his body malfunction and overload entirely. Fuck off with that. Did I do something wrong? You came here to talk, right? Sigh, when I went to check on Isuka this morning, he may have told me something. Oh, he confessed? No? Well, yeah, but that's not what I was gonna say. Oh, he told me you like me? He watched as Todoroki blushed, blinking in surprise and looking away with a little pout settling on his lips. I thought friends were supposed to keep secrets. It wasn't his fault. I mean, he feels really bad about it. But also, you totally could have just exposed him to me as well. You didn't know I already knew he liked me? Oh, I guess. The room regressed into silence. Bakugo wanted to let Todoroki take everything in, but the poor boy's only thought was that he was about to get rejected. I guess, this means you came here to let me down gently then? What? No? Why would you think that? You're not, but it's pretty obvious you like Midoriya back, right? Ever since I first met you guys I've thought it. You're so protective of him. You don't treat anyone else the way you treat him. Is it really that obvious? I thought I was just always being a dick. Pfft, well that's true, but you clearly have a much deeper, more special connection. Bakugo looked at the way Todoroki was trying to smile and laugh, but his eyes weren't glowing anymore. He could see how upset and worried he was. So all he could do was let out a dramatic groan and flop onto his back on the bed, making his shirt fly up a little and expose a patch of skin on his lower stomach. Todoroki couldn't help the way his eyes glued to the boy sprawled out on his bed. It made his stomach tighten as he forced himself to look away, cussing under his breath. What was that for? I'm the one who's stressed right now? Two guys just confessed to me at the same time. Bakugo, you don't understand how difficult it is to have you in my bedroom right now while not being able to do what I want to do. Oh. Bakugo sat back up slowly, looking across to the boy beside him as he continued to avoid eye contact. They were both blushing now. What exactly is it that you want to do? He didn't get a vocal response, but the half-and-half boy turned back to face him, tentatively reaching a hand out to place on Katsuki's thigh, bringing the other one over to hold his waist as the blonde boy's heart began racing. He was getting hot, flushed red and breath quickening as Todoroki grew nearer, devouring him with merely those intoxicating eyes. Holy fuck, he's so hot. What the fuck is happening? His hands are so soft and his face is so close, so pretty. Shit, I wanna kiss him. I want to kiss you. He inhaled sharply, freezing as his eyes flicked down to the boy's lips, and he was leaning in. Shit, I do wanna kiss him, but what about Izuku? If he knew, would that upset him again? Todoroki's lips were mere centimeters from Bakugo's when the blonde boy abruptly pulled back with a sigh, leaving Todoroki to slowly lean back and chew on his lips in disappointment. Sorry, I wanna kiss you too, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I think I like both of you. The confession had Todoroki looking back up with a shine in his eyes, clearly trying to stop his lips from pulling into a little smile. Did you tell Midoriya that you like him? No, not yet. So, I got the first confession? He grinned smugly and Bakugo blushed, instantly feeling the need to defend both himself and Izuku simultaneously. Well, I didn't mean to. I could totally confess to Deku right now too. Then we should ask him to come over here. But he has a headache? Humph, does that mean we can't kiss because you wanna confess to Midoriya first? Well, yeah, wait, what the hell is going on? He suddenly leapt up from the bed and looked down to Todoroki incredulously. I just told you that I like both you and Izuku, but you don't even care about that, you just wanna kiss me? Even after I confess to Deku? I don't see the problem. The problem is that once I confess to the nerd, am I not supposed to choose one? Do you just expect to share me or something? Yeah, I seriously see no problem. Bakugo blinked, his mouth unable to form another sentence as he slowly sat back onto the bed, feeling his own brain going into overdrive in attempt to wrap his head around everything. You'd really be okay with that? It makes total sense. I like you, Midoriya likes you, you like us both, and I like Midoriya a lot too. Bakugo immediately stood up once again, shock taking over as he yelled. You like Izuku too? Whoa, wait, it's not the same way I like you. It's more like we're just really good friends and Midoriya is super cute. I admire him a lot. Bakugo's eye twitched as he looked at the way Todoroki was flushed red, nervously playing with his fingers and shaking his head in denial, making the blonde boy take a deep breath and sit back down with a sigh. This is such a mess. You totally have a crush on him too, dumbass. I do. Would you kiss him? He doesn't wanna kiss me. That's not what I'm asking. Wait, holy shit, I have to tell you something, just don't freak out. What? I'm already freaking out? Izuku writes stories about us? What? I accidentally saw the book and read the stories. It's like, you know, about us, dating and shit. He writes that? Yeah, and he's really good at it. I wanna read them. You should, then you'd see that he totally fucking likes you too. How does that make sense? The writing comes from somewhere I see. Hot, come on. If he's describing you in the book by calling you perfect and loving and hot, he has to at least believe it himself, right? He says stuff like that about me? He thinks I'm hot? I dunno about this, Bakugo. That's it, we're going to his dorm. Bakugo stood and grabbed Todoroki's wrist, dragging him toward the door and out into the hall as he began protesting. But you said he has a headache? He's feeling better, I lied. He's just busy writing my newest request. You make requests? Yup, and this one is the first time I asked for one about all three of us. I need to read this book. Exactly, so hurry up and stop making me drag your heavy ass. Izuku found himself atop the blonde vampire, silver dagger against his throat as his legs straddled his waist, his emerald eyes faltering for a moment as he looked down at the monster. You're hesitating, human, why not kill me right away? His voice was low and gravelly. Izuku felt it rumble through his chest below him and he frantically pressed the dagger closer. But as he looked into the vampire's crimson eyes, he found himself faltering even more. You're scared, he whispered, and the blonde frowned. Scared? Me? Of a human? Of my silver blade? You've never been this close to real death, have you? Izuku practically taunted, and he saw the flicker of fear once again in those deep red eyes. He almost felt bad for the poor thing. If it wasn't a ruthless human-killing beast, of course. If you're going to do it, then just fucking do it already. Or are you having fun on top of me? His mouth pulled into a playful smirk and the freckled man blinked in shock. How vulgar. You're a monster, a cold, heartless being. Nobody could ever think such erotic thoughts for you. He grimaced, but the vampire only laughed, the deep purr reverberating through his chest once more and putting the hunter on edge. If you hesitate for much longer, you might end up meeting the one thing in this universe that truly does feel that way for me. There's another? Izuku's eyes flicked around, searching between the trees methodically. His sensors would have let him know by now if this other creature was anywhere nearby. His thoughts were cut off when the sound of those very sensors blared in his ears, and before he had a chance to react he was tossed aside, his back slamming into a tree and winding him. Holy shit, that was a little rough show. He had a knife to your throat. What was I supposed to do? Izuku looked up weakly to see a second vampire, this one with a rather unique appearance. His hair and eyes split in two halves as he glared down at the hunter. But we were having fun. He was just telling me how revolting I am and how nothing could ever think lewdly of me. Well, that's ridiculous. Did you break his glasses somewhere or something? The new vampire scoffed and the blonde one laughed. Izuku was beginning to regain his composure as he caught his breath to finally speak up. It has nothing to do with your appearance, you're a monster. So you think I'm hot? The red-eyed vampire squatted to the ground, a playful tone to his voice as Izuku merely glared back. He's pretty, right, Sho? He called back and the other vampire came down to their level as well. The freckled man could feel his heart rate picking up at the close proximity of these blood-sucking demons. But he kept his composure well enough. If you're going to do it, then just fucking do it already. Or are you having fun looking at me? He spat back the words that were spoken to him previously, but to his surprise, the vampires both laughed. I almost feel bad for throwing him so hard. You're right, he could be fun. Izuku dropped his pen and instantly slammed his book shut in shock, standing from his desk in panic and brushing himself down to check everything was normal. Who is it? Me? Ka-chan? He rushed to the door to open it with rosy cheeks and a giddy smile, only to see Todoroki stood beside Bakugo and instantly freeze in panic. Yeah, he's here too. I told him about the book. You what? Can I read it? Have you been writing the new one? Bakugo told me you're really good. Where is it? Can you hang on a minute? Ahem, sorry. What the hell is going on? Bakugo, you should just do the thing. What thing? You know, confess. Oh, right, shit. Izuku looked between them both with a frown, until Bakugo turned to face him and took a deep breath, his cheeks going rosy. You might already know this, but I didn't actually say it yet, so. I really like you. I feel like I don't deserve the feelings you have for me, but I am glad you have them. I also like Todoroki. I said we could share him? What? Don't say it like that. I'm not an object, dumbass. I didn't mean it like that. I just mean, I really wanna kiss you, and hold your hand again, study together more often and chill in your dorm to watch movies together. I wanna do everything with you, and Midoriya does too. So why can't we just both have what we want, if you want that too? You wouldn't get jealous, if Ka-chan and I don't think so, because I would know that anything you two do I can do too. I think I might get jealous. Fuck, I didn't even think about that. But you wrote those stories? Doesn't that mean you like it when Bakugo and I are romantically involved? I mean, I thought I did. I do, but I guess only the idea of it and not the real thing? But what if you knew you were a part of it too? I think my idea of being a part of it is different from yours, Todoroki-kun. Bakugo instantly noticed the way Izuku was looking at the taller boy. He knew about Izuku's feelings, but Todoroki didn't believe it was true. It must hurt to think they aren't reciprocated. Oi, icy hot. Answer my question from earlier. What question? Would you kiss him? Midoriya? Me? Yes? When you look at him, at his pretty eyes and soft lips, when you look at his rosy freckled cheeks and the way his hair curls so cutely round his face, the way he's so short and tiny and squishable, do you want to kiss him? Izuku's eyes were wide and shining. Hearing Bakugo's compliments about his appearance instantly made him flush red as he looked back and forth between them both shyly. Yeah, I guess. I mean, isn't that kind of normal though? Like, I'm sure you could ask anyone and they'd say yes. You're probably not wrong there, but the difference is that Izuku is the only one who decides who he likes back. You both like me? Yup, you underestimate yourself too much. stop acting all shocked, it's not that crazy. Besides, you're not innocent, I've read the stuff you write. This is surely your biggest dream right here, huh Izuku? I still really wanna read the book. Could you wait until I finish the new one? It's my favorite so far. He chewed on his lip to suppress his smile, but Bakugo was already reaching forward to grab his arm and grin widely. So you do like all three of us together? I guess yeah. I hadn't thought about it till you asked me because I didn't think it would be possible. You like me back? I mean, we've always been good friends, right? You were always so nice to me, so effortlessly cool all the time. I couldn't help it. I cannot believe this fucked up situation actually worked out. I have spent way too much time and effort lately stressing about this shit. Can we please just all be honest and say we wanna fucking date each other and get all this uncomfortable tension out of the way? Please, I've been so scared you two were going to fall in love and I'd end up alone and still have to write the stupid stories for Kachan. Does this mean I can kiss you now? Todoroki looked to Bakugo and the blonde boy rolled his eyes. You're so needy. What if Izuku wants to kiss me first, huh? No, it's okay. I already got a forehead kiss anyway. You did? Oh, shit, yeah, I did do that, didn't I? Cha, and you dodged my kiss earlier. An actual kiss is different than one on the head. That's true, but it's okay. I think this'll be good to test how jealous I get. If you're sure. Do you want to kiss me, Bakugo? Of course I fucking do, dumbass, I said that earlier. Alright then, don't dodge this time. His lips pulled into a playful smile as they drew closer, and Deku watched with nervous anticipation as both boys leaned in, closing their eyes as their lips connected softly. Oh, holy shit. He felt himself getting hot as their mouths tentatively began moving against one another, hands gripping clothes and running into hair as they got lost in the feeling, and Izuku didn't feel a single ounce of jealousy. When they finally pulled apart to catch their breath, Todoroki's legs wobbled and he found himself practically collapsing down into Deku's desk chair. Whoa, that was nice. That looked better than just nice, Kachan. How do you feel, Midoriya? Like that was really hot. You aren't jealous? Maybe a tiny bit, but only because I wanna know how that feels. Pfft, I'm glad. How about I show you, please? Izuku shakily stepped closer and Bakugo smirked, reaching a hand up to hold behind his head and pull him in, swiftly connecting their lips as Izuku squeaked with wide eyes. However, it wasn't long until he was melting against the blonde boy, his hands reaching up to grip his shirt as their lips brushed together, teeth nibbling and tongues tentatively sweeping between the kiss. Oh god, the pair pulled apart and Izuku was panting. He stumbled back until he was sat on the bed and Bakugo was still stood, looking over the two boys smugly to bask in the glory of his work. Midoriya was right, that is hot. I guess I'll add another thing to my list of incredible talents. Kachan, I could do that all day. Me too. Oh, hang on, I mean I only have so much oxygen, you know. Are we dating now? Like all of us? I can tell people my boyfriends are Bakugo and Midoriya? Yeah, I guess. Really? I like the sound of that. Can we watch a movie tonight? Yes, movie and cuddles? Cuddles? And kissing. More kissing? You said you could do it all day, Midoriya. I didn't really think about it sensibly. I might pass out. Guess I'll just kiss Shoto then. Shoto? I thought you liked it when I call him that, based on your stories? Please keep calling me that. Of course, Shoto. This is too much. The atmosphere is getting way too. What? Steamy. Yes? Can we kiss again? Screw the movie. You guys? 1 month later. Izuku was studying at his desk while his boyfriends were cozied up on his bed, fanfic book in hand as they read the latest story about the trio. It was only Deku's second piece about the three of them together, but Bakugo had already gone on and on about how much better they were than the others, which always made the freckled boy feel warm inside. Todoroki ended up outright refusing to read the other ones, saying he knows they must be amazing but it would feel wrong to read any stories that didn't include Izuku, which also made Deku feel like he was actually loved. He had kind of been grappling with the idea that he was just a little bonus, an add-on to Bakugo and Todoroki's relationship, rather than an integrated part, but the two boys always made sure to shoo away those thoughts as much as they could. This one was incredible. The ending was you finished it? He span in his chair to face his boyfriends. Their legs were tangled together on this bedsheets and their faces were tinted red. Icy Hot has never read that stuff, remember? Oh, you mean the they call it smut. It was kind of overwhelming, but I really liked it. It's always my favorite part. Ka-chan? Either way, I'm just glad you both enjoyed it. Thank you, Midoriya. I've been thinking, you've been writing so many of these, don't you need a break? Not yet. I'm still feeling inspired lately. Maybe soon I'll need to stop for a bit. Besides, I keep having this idea pop into my head, but I dunno if it's stupid. Don't think like that, dumbass, just speak your mind. We're literally dating, there's nothing to worry about. We wouldn't think you're stupid, Todoroki-kun. At least I wouldn't. Well, I was just feeling like, couldn't we just make your stories real? Like Bakugo said, we are dating now, so whatever you write on the paper, couldn't we just do it in real life? Are you trying to subtly say you wanna fuck? No, that's not my point. Pfft, I get it, Todoroki-kun, and sure, we probably could for a lot of them. It might be kinda fun to try, but I still just find it fun to write. Nah, he totally wants to play out all kinds of fantasies from your book, Izuku. He wants me to bite him like I'm a vampire and tie him up like he's a research specimen. He wants to be touched and kissed, and Bakugo had turned and clambered on top of Todoroki as he spoke, making the poor boy flush red and stutter in panic as he was pressed down onto his back on the bedsheets. Ka-chan, don't tease him too much. Oh, but he likes it. I'm sure he wants you to come over too, Zoo. I am finding it really hard to stay cool right now. See, he has the hots for you, Izuku. Bakugo was clearly feeling extra playful today, and Deku would be lying if he said he didn't absolutely love this side of the blonde boy that only the two of them got to see. So he giggled as he stood from his desk chair and joined them on the bed, glancing down to Todoroki before moving round to straddle his legs behind Bakugo, wrapping his arms around the blonde boy's torso from behind. Woo, Izuku knows how to play along. We should have known. He is the visionary after all. Just think, Sho. Everything written in that book is from him. He wants to see you like that. You two are too much. I've only read 2 stories. I'm new to this. You gotta give me a chance before you jump me. Hehe. Sorry, Todoroki-kun. I was getting caught up in the moment. You, mister, need to listen to what he's saying and give him time to cool off, literally. Izuku punctuated his statement by leaning round to press a kiss to Bakugo's cheek, only making the blonde boy pout and climb off Todoroki with a huff. It's not my fault you write all that stuff and get me all worked up. I know, I'm sorry. You'll just have to keep enjoying it there until Todoroki-kun is ready. Are you saying you're both already ready to do what's in the book? Fuck yeah, I am. I'd like to try it, I think. Oh, it's okay though, Todoroki-kun. It does sound kinda scary, so I get it. And we aren't pressuring you at all, okay? Yeah, I can wait. No biggie. Bakugo shrugged and moved his hand down to hold Todoroki's, squeezing it supportively as he managed to let a smile replace his pout, and the overheating boy finally managed to cool down. Thank you both. I love you. Hehe, love you too. Izuku dived onto him for a hug and Bakugo watched fondly from the side. Moments like this hardly felt real. They'd only been dating a month, but it felt like they'd been this way forever. He hoped it would be forever. The end. I got it done in a week? I actually didn't. I just started it before part 1 was posted, cause I also started part 1 weeks before that one was posted. So the moral of the story is that I cannot regularly get videos out 1 week apart. Every so often it's clearly possible though. Anyways, I know my TodoBakuDeku stories don't do as well as my BAKUGO ones, but I couldn't ignore all the requests I was getting for another one. Unfortunately, it'll probably be a long time before I ever make another one though. For the sake of my livelihood, I need to stick to what gets the most attention in the algorithm. To those of you who watched this though, thank you so much and I hope you enjoyed it. I appreciate all your support so much. See you guys soon with the next video. Love you.